Everybody loves a good old-fashioned rabid animal attack creature feature. So grab your popcorn and strap yourself into your favorite beanbag as Disastery Channel brings you 5 movies based on real-life killer animals. Blackfish is a raw as rhubarb 2013 documentary directed by Gabriella Cowperthwaite, chronicling the abuse of captive killer whales and the massive cover-up orchestrated by the SeaWorld Corporation, which involved the deaths and serious injury of many orca trainers over many years. Blackfish currently has a Rotten Tomatoes score of over 90% by critics and audience alike, which is one of the bloody rare times that they both agree on anything. So you know, this shitty little documentary might actually be worth a jolly good gander. The documentary lays out in brutal detail how SeaWorld allegedly lured in unsuspecting, wet behind the ears young men and women into their bizarre killer whale death cult. SeaWorld, with its park attendance dwindling dismally, attempted to jump the shark with their new attraction featuring captive killer whales performing all sorts of degrading and ridiculous antics for fanatical frothing-at-the-mouth fans. Over time, SeaWorld perfected their cunning cult recruitment scheme, which employed a clever combination of love bombing and brainwashing, which included promises of fame and fortune, forcing men to wear dresses against their will, as well as a hypnotic induction video featuring James Earl Jones, best known as the voice of Darth Vader in the iconic Star Wars franchise, to seduce the young SeaWorld apprentices to the dark side of the animal entertainment industry. The poor, pliable apprentices were duped into believing that there was no downside to flogging these overdeveloped dolphins, but little did they know that these smiling killer whales would soon reveal themselves as whales that kill. In hindsight, I suppose one shouldn't be too surprised if one is bitten in half by a killer whale. I mean, after all, there is a giant, great big fuck-off warning on the label, which reads, "Killer whale." Over the years, the body count piled up, with at least 4 trainers killed by SeaWorld orcas and scores more injured. SeaWorld continued to cover up the marine mammal maulings, preferring to ascribe these incidents to trainer error. The cover-up included the denial of flaccid male orca dorsal fins as a thing, when even blind Freddy can see that there's something not quite right about a male whale with a fucking flaccid dorsal fin. Staff were allegedly forced to destroy video evidence of the killings in order to preserve SeaWorld's reputation, but eventually a number of trainers broke their silence and blew the whistle louder than a gala of gays at a 1 million man Mardi Gras. And the result is Blackfish. So really, I could keep banging on and on like a blind man on a biscuit tin, but maybe just watch the bloody documentary. The Ghost and the Darkness is a 1996 movie starring Michael Douglas of Wall Street fame and Val Iceman Kilmer, and directed by Stephen Hopkins. The film is based upon an African legend of the 1898 story of a pair of lions that feasted upon the Indian and native African workers who built the Uganda Railway. It is estimated that the fucking ferocious felines claimed the lives of more than 100 men. The lions were eventually killed by Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, who wrote the account of his hunting experience in his semi-biographical novel, The Man-Eaters of Tsavo. The movie follows Val Kilmer in a semi-homoerotic bromance with Michael Douglas, whose constant references to rifles as instruments of sexual conquest borders on the bewildering. In the end, though, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed colonial white dude burns down half of Africa, but solves the giant cat problem, while a multitude of unnamed brown folk are sacrificed on the altar of Hollywood entertainment. So I guess we can all go home feeling rather chuffed with ourselves. What propels the film from forgettable straight-to-DVD fodder to almost altogether half-watchable is how well it follows real-life events, with the occasional quote stolen from Mike Tyson, as well as some of the visually stunning shots of the African countryside. This film also features lots and lots of shots of grass and more grass, bristling in the bustling breeze of the grand African savanna. So, if you like watching grass gyrating, punctuated by the odd mauling at the paws of a lion or two, this movie is sure to tickle your sick little pickle. Realistically, you'd have to work pretty bloody hard to actually get killed by a real-life lion. Unless you did something completely catshit crazy like get out of the safety of your safari car to get a selfie with the animals at Kruger National Park. Backcountry is a 2013 film by debut director Adam McDonald, based on the 2005 true story of a hungry man-eating black bear that attacked Mark Jordan and Jacqueline Perry in the backcountry of Missinaibi Lake Provincial Park in Ontario, Canada. Critics on Rotten Tomatoes rate the film about 90%, while audiences thought it was below average at best, which should set alarm bells ringing right away that this thing is going to suck Big Bear's balls. The plot is annoying in its simplicity. Mark, who plans to propose to Jackie, tries to impress her with his horrible as horse shit orienteering skills but quickly gets lost in the unforgiving Canadian wilderness. A black bear, once a hopeless romantic, but becoming an embittered, butt-hurt bear after being burned by her previous lover, Baloo the bear, who refused to bail from his baller lifestyle and embrace a boring as bear shit monogamous bore of a relationship, took an immediate dislike to the loved-up couple and proceeded on a quest to maul them both down at any cost. Spoiler alert! Mark got mauled, while Jackie got away without a scratch and probably sold the engagement ring to fund a fireball-fueled trip to Cancun, where she caught chlamydia from Radcad Chad with the chiseled jawline and meticulously waxed gooch and crack. In all honesty, though, this narrator is sensibly scared stiff shitless of a black bear attack. Bears are highly motivated apex predators that can easily outrun a human and can climb trees faster than an Olympic chimp. Bears can grow up to 8 feet in height and balloon to over 1,600 pounds in weight. Bear in mind that if a bear bears down on you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that brain-dead bear spray is next to fucking useless, and you're liable to get mauled, just like Leonardo in that movie, The Revenant. A bear will happily pin you down while they take their time eating your face right off. Just ask podcaster and bear expert Joe Rogan, who will bang on ad nauseum about brutal bear blitz attacks. In any case, the film fulfills its intended purpose as a warning not to venture into the Canadian backcountry without a bow and arrow brandishing Joe Rogan in tow. Open Water is a 2003 survival horror thriller based on the true story of Tom and Eileen Lonergan, who in 1998 went scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef and were accidentally left behind in shark-infested waters because the diveboat crew ran out of fingers and toes to count on, and thus could not complete an accurate head count of all passengers on board. This boring as shark shit slumber inducer only cost a measly $95.50 to make, mainly thanks to the budget Blair Witch-style handheld shaky cam style. The movie grossed around $55 million at the box office, which encouraged every clown with a video camera to try his luck at the big time, and pretty much ruined cinema for the new millennium. The vast majority of the movie is spent following these insipid spouses bobbing up and down in the Pacific Ocean like a couple of quarreling corks. Before too long, you are praying for a shiver of sharks to slice them to shreds. And thankfully, we are eventually granted our fervent wish, although it doesn't happen nearly quickly enough. The dialogue could have done with a decent dose of disastery gallows humour, but unfortunately we were busy producing several other projects. Spoiler alert, both are eventually mauled by sharks. Tony is eaten like pepperoni, and Eileen has one leg bitten off, which is kind of ironic, given her name is Eileen. Unfortunately, the parsimonious people behind this pathetic production were too stingy to shell out for big fuck-off scary sharks like one would hope. And we scarcely get to see the surfacing of a shark dorsal fin before the annoying actors are swallowed into the ocean, leading one to wonder, what the fuck did I spend my money on? At this point, you might be expecting to be inundated with fascinating factoids about the curious mating habits of sharks, but this isn't Shark Week. This is the mother-shitting Disastery Channel, and we won't insult your intelligence. Fortunately, it is relatively easy to avoid being savaged by sharks if one employs the simple stay the fuck out of the water strategy that Saharan desert dwellers have used for centuries to avoid shark attacks. Disastery Channel rates this movie 0 stars out of a possible 500, and may God have mercy upon all our souls for having to endure it. Black Water is an Australian horror film that follows a bunch of Aussie tourists as they are stalked to death by a massive shit-eating saltwater crocodile mate during a fishing trip gone wrong. Written and directed by Andrew Tralke and David Nerlich on a shoestring budget of $5 Australian, Blackwater ended up grossing over $1.25 million, leaving the directors 1 metric fuckton richer. The movie is loosely based on the true story of 3 teenagers who took their 4-wheelers out for a bash through the swampy bushland near the Finnis River, south of the city of Darwin in Australia. Stopping by the river to cool off, the three teenagers were attacked by a massive cranky of a croc. The crocodile mauled one of the teenagers, dragging him under the water, as the other two friends escaped up a nearby tree. The poor pants pissing pair stayed stuck up the tree for 22 hours before a rescue helicopter spotted the pair from the air and saved them from the crazy crocodile circling in the river below. Spoiler alert, this movie sucks big round baboon balls. The film currently has a 79% rating by critics on Rotten Tomatoes, so you can pretty much guarantee that the opposite is true. The movie has a cast of 6 people, the majority of whom are killed off far too quickly by the psychotic croc. The rest of the cast spend the lion's share of this 90-minute snooze fest stuck up a tree, while a cello wrangler, rumoured to be the director's coked-out cousin, solos disturbing string sounds that can scarcely pass as music. Crocodiles will attack even when they are not hungry, and are known for stashing their kills throughout the mangroves to feast upon later. A large crocodile can quickly outrun a human, and their jaws will simply snap a human arm or leg like a fucking twig. There have been sightings of salties over 25 feet in length and weighing over 1 ton. Most terrifyingly, crocodiles will use their dreaded death roll to drown, discombobulate and dismember their victims. Before you think that this couldn't happen to you, the top end of Australia is literally infested with crocodiles that will lie just under the surface of the water near the river's edge, just waiting for an unsuspecting German tourist to try sticking Zaya Wiener Schnitzel into the water. Let this story serve as a lesson before you brazenly bomb dive into a nearby billabong. For the next video, click here, and make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and stay disastrous.